So when they do it to a Tesla dealership, it's really bad. But when they do it to the halls of Congress, we should pardon them. Is that your position?
No, I've never. I don't
are
support.
We okay with
I know you haven't been around for a while, so let me educate you about my position about January the 6th.
I'm so sorry.
Let me educate you.
No, you don't need to patronize
you don't need to.
me.
You don't need to be condescending to me. So let me educate you about my position. You want to attack me? Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let's do this January 6th and then Nerk.
I'm sorry you're getting emotional.
I'm sorry you're a condescending person who hasn't been paying attention to what I do.
Stop, guys.
So
that's Republican Scott Jennings finally losing his cool at an ignorant CNN panelist for downplaying the violent attacks against Tesla owners and comparing it to J6. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like the day has finally come where Scott Jennings has had enough of the inane babbling coming from the mouths of CNN's cavalcade of clowns. Here he is putting a smug establishment media puppet and Ana Navarro stand-in her place after she nonchalantly dismissed the political violence coming from the left.
So doubtful it's Republicans attacking Tesla dealerships around the country. It's pretty wild, actually. The other night, Donald Trump said these are domestic terrorists. Everybody laughed about it and scoffed at it. That video looks like terrorism to me. I mean, it's obviously an organized, coordinated effort, however people are communicating with each other, to do this to people around the country who chose to buy a Tesla at some point in the past, many of whom I'm sure are Democrats who bought them in the first place, all because their entire political worldview is ruled by their emotions. And that's the American left right now. It is one angry mob after another willing to take things into their own hands, up to and including keying, firebombing, and otherwise vandalizing cars and car dealerships and charging stations. It's outrageous. It is terrorism. People ought to be put in jail and left there for a very long time and be taught a lesson. I have repeatedly, just like my friend Ashley here, said that no violence in our political system is acceptable. But this right here, what's going on with a guy who helps our country, who runs successful companies, who doesn't have to be doing this, and now one of his companies is under systematic terroristic threat and violence all over the country, and people seem to be laughing about it or fine with it. It's outrageous. I've sat at this table and had people say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want? The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found, put in jail, and made an example of. That's my point.
Anyone who commits violence against Tesla or Congress or anyone else should be put in jail, 1,000%. But that should not stifle dissent or opposition from Elon Musk.
Give it a little lip service. Give it a little both sides. Go ahead.
Let's do both sides here. I'm so sorry.
You know, it's funny to watch how the left will flip-flop on the reactions to protests and boycotts. I mean, in the Obama era, they used to love boycotting places like Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby and were praised by the media for doing the whole Occupy Wall Street thing. Then the woke mind virus stuff happened, and suddenly it was considered pathetic and lame for conservatives to boycott things they opposed in culture, like Bud Light, Target, or Disney. A few years pass, and those same people criticizing conservatives are suddenly justifying intimidating Tesla owners, keying their cars, and setting fires at dealerships. Which shouldn't come as a surprise, because they did the same thing with the mostly peaceful BLM protests in J6.
I just want to be clear. No one at this table condones violence, right? Setting cars on fire, breaking windows, whatever, all of that is bad. But the question is, I mean, is it okay for an American company to just be hated, for people to want it to not do well?
I think, go back to point one. When you set a car on fire, you should go to jail. You're a criminal.
Any car,
I don't think we have to talk about it in any other context. Yeah. And all those cars have cameras in them, and those dealerships have cameras. You're beyond being stupid when you do that. You're going to go to jail, and you now have a government that just got their mandate. They can't wait to find idiots that do this. You're going to spend 5 to 20 years in prison. If they get them on terrorism, which I think is a stretch, they will have no parole, no shortened sentence. They'll rot in hell in prison for 20 years. And frankly, as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. Breaking in, shooting a car, setting on fire, nothing to do with the politics, nothing to do with Tesla. You are a criminal, and you should go to jail.
What about the broader question about the the protest factor. I mean, you heard
What
Tim Walz.
protest? You're a criminal.
I'm talking about Tim Walz and his comments about the Tesla stock. He says it gives him a boost to see that stock going down.
That poor guy didn't check his portfolio and his own pension plan for state. It's beyond stupid what he did. He's talking down a 3.5% weighting in his own pension plan. I mean, what's the matter with that guy? He doesn't check the well-being of his own constituents in his state. I mean, that's their investment fund.
Point,
what a bozo.
The Minnesota Tesla State Board of Investment, they have 1.6 million shares in Tesla in their retirement fund, 211,000 shares in a non-retirement fund. It's a relatively small amount, but that's one company, one single stock.
The fact of the matter here is that all this is doing is just showing how cultish the left really is. I mean, it's no wonder their approval ratings are in the gutter. They eat their own, have impossible and constantly shifting standards, and will do absolutely everything in their power to destroy anyone on their side who dares express opinions outside of what they currently deem acceptable. I mean, it's just like what Jennings said. The majority of the people being targeted are idiotic liberals who wanted a virtue signal by buying a recognizable electric car from a guy who the left thought was on their side. But now that he's not, those same people are either expected to sell their car or put a bumper sticker on it to virtue signal the new acceptable standards of the left, because it's all kabuki theater and about peacocking for the ruling class. It never had anything to do with fighting climate change or supporting sustainable transportation, because Elon or Tesla could develop something that would eliminate fossil fuels tomorrow and the left would still try to burn it to the ground and drag him through the mud because he won't say that 2 + 2 = 5 and they don't like his politics. But let me know what you think. How do you feel about the protests against Tesla? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.